Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, and welcome everybody to Zelda Link to the Past Randomized Ladder Race. This is the Open Plus invitational thingy going on currently on, well, the Link to the Past Randomized Ladder. The short version is, if you participate in 10 of these races, you may or may not, depending on your score, get to participate in some form of tournament? I think something like that. Either way, this is basically Zelda Link to the Past randomized with a bit of an adjusted rule set. Generally speaking, it has less maximum hearts. It has like 2 full heart containers as well as 24 heart pieces, I think, total. There are 2 mail upgrades set, however, you only get 1. So blue mail is the maximum, same with the shield, you get a maximum of the fire shield, same with the sword, you get a maximum of the tempered sword. Even if you were technically to find the 4th sword, which is placed, and the racers may get different swords potentially, or in different places anyways, you only get up to 3. So effectively it is overall just kind of a slightly more difficult rule set. The short version of what this is, it also has fake boots, or pseudo boots, as some people like to say, and these basically allow us to dash and allow us to item dash and spin speed, but we cannot bonk into walls in order to open them, and we cannot open up bonkable rocks or open up Kingdom. Basically we can't get the item locations with this, we can't just go fast. So we do have to find the actual boots in order to access these locations, but pseudo boots are still kind of nice because they give you, well, more options in a sense. Now, I've actually never done this kind of particular rule set. We're gonna begin in just about 1 minute from now. So this is gonna be interesting. For anybody who does not know what A Link to the Past Randomizer is, the short version is, with our little mogul sprite, there's like over 200 sprites by now you can choose instead of the standard Link sprite. We're going to open up chests. Any of the chests that we have access to can have, well, a variety of items that give us access to new locations. Effectively turns into a randomized Metroidvania type of deal. And the goal of this run is to get the 7 crystals from the 7 crystal dungeons, which are also randomized, which could be the 3 light world dungeons are actually all crystals, and we have Total Rock and others just paying pendants. Get the 7 crystals, open up Ganon's tower, clear Ganon's tower, and then defeat Ganon. That's the goal. So with this, without any further ado, anybody who is here live, please do not help me, because this is a ladder race. So even if I forget something or I'm a big dingus and just kind of don't see that there was something I should have gotten, do not tell me, because any other participant might not have this kind of advantage of having a decent viewer base who would be paying attention. So I would appreciate if you just let me be a dingus and at the very end of the race tell me that, hey, you just walked by this chest and never opened it and it didn't matter, you're lucky guy, I guess. Either way, let's see what we have here. I'm gonna check the bush crab. 5 rupees, alright. And the pickles have arrow drops, so that doesn't really help either. Now we see what's in here. That is silver arrows. Wait. Oh yeah. Silver arrows are in the game, actually. With a more difficult rule set, I guess I didn't expect. But they are actually a separate item compared to the bow. So normally bows are progressive like the gloves and the swords and stuff like that, but not in this mode in particular. We do have a moon pearl right here. I also did intentionally get hit by that crow once, because I have now killed 4 enemies and have gotten hit once, which gives me a different kind of tree pull compared to killing 4 enemies and not getting hit. And the reason why I did want to get hit is because that is the most common tree pull that you will encounter just kind of if you come by any random pull item. So let's see what we get this time. First time it was magic, this time it's just fairies. Alright, if I ever need a fairy, just pull on, I don't know, some a tree or whatever it is that has these properties and we might get lucky. Speaking of getting lucky, I need Magic. That doesn't help. Alright, we don't have enough money and we don't have bombs, so we're going to miss out on one item location inside here, unless we get lucky and one of the item locations inside here is in fact bombs itself. You may notice I actually did a little bit of a sidestep there after coming down the ladder. Gloves is interesting. Oh, we get bombs. Very nice. So you may notice I have done a little sidestep there coming down the ladder. And that sidestep is actually very useful because it prevents a little bit of stair lag. Whenever you come down from the stairs like that, it allows you to just kind of cancel the stair lag. So I'm also going hold to the right here. This does not only give me a faster dashing route, so to speak, it also prevents the stair lag from coming down there as if I were to hold down and right or left. So basically I don't want to hold down for the first frame coming off the stairs is the idea. We also get a bottle. The bottle allows us to get one more item from Sick Kid here in Kakariko, so it's very convenient that we happen to get this bottle right here. We don't have quite enough money for the bottle merchant. In fact, we just need 20 more rupees. The bottle merchant is always in logic because technically, worst case scenario, you could always just farm rupees by repeating certain actions like jumping down the well and grabbing all the rupees out of here, even if none of the chests or anything like that contains rupees. And this is actually precisely what I'm doing here once. This is going to result in 20 more rupees and give me something from the bottle merchant, which might be entirely pointless or useless, but I don't know that, so I hope it's useful because I don't have any bombs remaining. Ooh, that's not useful. Yikes. Single arrow. Also, I haven't checked the words yet. Oh, nice. That's a lot of money. Now we can actually buy bombs. That's very important. I have not checked the map yet, and I should check the map in order to figure out what we are dealing with today. Alrighty, so we have 5-6 crystal in Eastern Palace. The reason why 5 and 6 crystals specifically are relevant is because these open up the avenue to purchase the big red bomb at the pyramid shop in order to open up the pyramid fairy in the dark world. So as mentioned before, we do have the bottle which allows us to get an item from Sick Kid. In this case, a piece of heart which extends our health. Health is going to be a bit scarce with this kind of rule set, so I like having a bit of health early. We also get a hammer, which is our first proper, well, damage weapon. We also have quick swap enabled. Quick swap allows me to, well, swap around items by pressing the L or R buttons. So optimally, if I play everything really well, you will never see me actually open up the menu. So, aside from that, let's see what we have here as an item. It's another bottle. There are actually all 4 bottles placed, but you only ever get 2 of them. So the maximum, kind of like the swords, etc. You can find all the bottle locations where they are placed, but after you get 2 bottles, the remainder will be rupees and stuff like that. Alrighty, and we're going to go down here. Normally you can bonk into these walls, but because we have Zuda boots rather than actual boots, we can't bonk into these walls, so let's see what we have here. Piece of heart, bomb refill, and arrows. So nothing of value here, but it is 3 quick checks that we can get. And welcome to you, Midis DNS, and thank you for the luck. And here's money. Ooh, money would have been useful earlier. Would have saved me a little bit of farming time, let's put it this way. Alrighty. Now, we're just going to do what I'd like to do as the standard opening route. Secondary, we go down here into the dam, see what's in the chest, then we pull the lever, see what's under the water, and then we go over to Mini Moldrum Cave. Some people like to change it up and head over to Agina's Cave, which is over at the desert, but I like to just kind of stave that off until I have like a book in order to also visit Desert and Agina or something else. It can come back to bite me, let's say if there's like a flute at Agina, and I will have to eventually just manually go there or something like that. But at the same time, these kind of situations are relatively rare. So, moving on here. I'm picking up a bomb before the screen transition, which allows me to very slightly earlier open up that door. And we don't have a good weapon for these guys. Like, we could hit them with the hammer. Okay, that actually worked out really well. Messed up. We could hit them with the hammer, but the hammer has a horrible hitbox, especially for the erratic movement of the mini Moldorms. Hitting them is very difficult. We get a Quake Medallion. Also, worth noting, with Zelda boots, we cannot do the water walk, I think. I'm pretty sure we can't do the water walk, so... yeah. There's that. We're equipped. So we're just going to check over an Ice Rod Cave, where there's, well, in the vanilla game, there's an Ice Rod. Also, you may have seen, I just bonked there, and that was a tiny bonk, which is basically a feature of the Zelda boots. You still technically bonk, but practically it's such a minor bonk that it rarely is useful, although it does allow you to do some things, but some gaps you can only cross while having actually proper boots. 20 rupees here, and we just even quit to go other places. And these other places include... well, we could go to the Dark World. In fact, I will just do this right now. Visit the Dark World here, and the reason is quite simple. I want to know which dungeons are 5-6 crystals and pendants. Basically just, I want to know what the dungeons are so I can more properly plan ahead. Plus, Hype Cave has a lot of items. Oops, messed it up. Alrighty, we unfortunately do need the Ice Rod, which means we have to eventually clear Turtle Rock. I always hope for Turtle Rock to be a pendant, or just find the Ice Rod early, even if Turtle Rock is a pendant. So, as I said, we have a bunch of stuff in, oh my goodness, in here. Hope for some bombs maybe. We do get a sword, that is very nice. Now we have a more easy way to fight some enemies, not all of them. We can also now start hammer dashing. Where do we go, left or right? I have money. And Palace of Darkness is open. And it's a pendant that I don't care about not beating. You know, let's just go for a more standard route. I like sometimes going into Palace of Darkness early. But in this case, let's just go for two somewhat out of the way locations that, well, I often don't do until later. So what we can do now with the sword, we hold out the sword, charge it up to a spin, and if I do it right, I basically just dash one frame, that is 1/60th of a second. Oh, a lamp. No, I really should go into Palace of Darkness, huh? Okay, we go Palace of Darkness, why not? If I survive, that is. If you dash one frame after you release your sword spin, it will allow you to, well, go super fast if you touch some stairs. It's a little bit finicky and a bit weird, but this is actually a thing that is exclusive to the 1.0 version of Zelda Link to the Past. And the Japanese 1.0 version actually works. The international release will not allow you to do this, so unless you specifically use this version, you will not be able to perform any of such actions. So, Palace of Darkness is a pendant. Normally I would want to avoid going into, well, Palace of Darkness, because I would like to try and clear it as soon as I enter there, but in this case, I don't care about clearing it, since I don't want to clear it. That's the short version, I suppose. Also, I learned walking here is actually faster than dashing. Unfortunately, I do not have a mirror in order to speed up the process of going back to the entrance. So we just have to walk back. Also, as you can see, there are some more stair lag cancel. Also, avoid the switch here. And I do actually want to pick up these pots for bombs, because I'm kind of low on bombs. I also dash into the store by aligning myself on the wall, but you need a specific kind of pixel alignment in order to dash past there. I also open up this wall on the right side. The right side is actually locked by a bow, but with some clever trickery, you can go through the right side anyways. Hold the mimic clip, or if you have the bottle with some liquid in it, it also can be used through that, or those means, I guess. Palace of North Darkness left, indeed. Alright, so we have 3 small keys here. This means the backside is accessible by key logic. Ooh, a hook shot. This was already worth coming here. The backside is accessible by key logic. Can't bonk into this wall because it's aforementioned reasons. I actually almost forgot that I needed a bomb here too. Alright. I was hoping for some bomb drops, but I'm not getting any. Sorry, I can't really keep up the commentary with this one. I'm just doing some finicky trickery to get the mimic out of the door. Alright, hookshot is definitely necessary in this seat, because you do need to clear a certain dungeon. This right side here is not in logic, so I'm not supposed to go through here by logic, but practically, well, I can, because mimic clip is actually allowed in the rule set. So minor glitches basically are allowed in the rule set. That's the short version. I'm just gonna play this safe. Oh, these guys actually drop bombs. Nice. And this backside here is available as long... Actually, the big key was locked. So this backside here should be fully accessible, I think. More bombs, please. 50 rupees. That is the second item we have found in Palace of Darkness. And this is now in logic because of, thanks to the lamp. Includes small key and a mirror. Holy cow! Going in here early is incredibly valuable. We could check out Eastern Palace with this mirror as well while we are here. Oh wait, that's a small key. I did not need to open this. Ah, that was a mistake. Either way, we could just check Eastern Palace as well while we're here with the mirror. I kinda don't like doing this because I would like to just clear it. But it is decently fast to check. At the very least I'm going to check Sahasrara. Oh, don't have enough health to tank through this. Each one of these fireballs always deals 1 heart of damage, no matter how much armor you have. That's one more item. And there could be the last item right here, or it could be on the boss. We always mirror out. Ooh, it is on the boss. So the last item is on the boss. So that is effectively 2 items on the boss, because the green pen allows you to also check what's on Sahasrara. Trying to think. No, I think I'm not going to go into Eastern Palace. We're fine. Just going to check these here. Nothing of value, but there's a bunch of stuff available now. I could have mirrored. You can actually mirror out of the sanctuary if you save and quit here. Alrighty, do I need rock bombs? This rock here has a 50-50 chance to contain a bomb. So I was kind of lifting up hoping for a bomb. Didn't get one. That's alright. Alrighty. Actually I haven't checked what the stun drop is yet. Stun drop is a single rupee, so that's not really useful. In the vanilla game that is in fact also single rupee. So the short version is, when you stun an enemy and kill them, they always drop an item and it's always the same one. In Randomizer, which one that is randomized. So in this case, it was, well, not very useful. That's the short version. We're also checking the front of Skullwood. I pretty much always check this. Because Skullwood often has items. Well, as weird as it seems, because it only is 2 unique items that are not dungeon-specific items. There's one already. Very frequently, for some reason, Skullwood just has stuff. And that is actually not just, what's the word, conjecture? Or that's not just confirmation bias, that's actually the case. Statistically, Skullwoods is the most likely location to have an item. Watch. There is a small key. Oh, my Y button is absolutely horrible right now on this controller. I actually cleaned them today, hoping that it would get fixed, but Y button's still the same. That bush has a 1 in 8 chance to have a fairy in it, or a 1 in 8 to have a heart separately. Okay, we're gonna get 3 more chests in here, hoping to get the second item out of Skullwoods. That way I don't have to worry about it anymore. That is not a second item. And that is also not it. Alrighty, so the second item is in fact at the back of Skullwoods. I did not intentionally die there, because mirroring would have been faster, but minor mistake. Not gonna worry too much about it. These kinds of minor time saves and time losses, they are unlikely to decide the race individually, but if they happen frequently, like let's say I open the menu instead of quick swapping, all of these things can really add up in the long run. So I'm checking this item there, that is just some rupees, so we don't need this. We couldn't get the item because you need the cape in order to actually acquire this, but well, we don't need to get it, so we can just mark it off the map. Also worth noting, I have to go the long way around here, because I don't have the means to bonk into rocks with these boots. But we can still check this item right here. So I'm gonna try something fancy, put down a bomb, pick up the pot and then throw the bomb, and if I did everything right... Ooh, fire rod. That's very handy. So I feel like I'm just getting really lucky here. Fire rod we actually get thanks to our mirror, which we got out of Palace of Darkness really early on. Wrong way. So this is very interesting because this allows us to clear Skullwoods, which is a little bit funky because we have relatively low health and our best weapon against it is a hammer. Which, to be fair, I don't mind hammer Mothula. Oh, I went the wrong way for Skullwoods. I'm gonna do this. I don't mind defeating Mothula with a hammer. I'm reasonably comfortable with it, but it's a kind of a bit of a low HP total for it. It's usually fine, but sometimes Mothula will give me enough trouble that I might just get knocked out once or twice. Well, let's hope that doesn't happen today. Worth noting, just kind of for the near future, I suppose, if I have 2 small keys, I don't even need to open up the pot over there, because we have a small key. Worth noting, if I'm going to go to the Village of Outcasts after this, which I will, it's actually faster to mirror from the backside, and then go through the mirror again in the area. Also, I need magic, which I kind of literally messed up a little bit, so top top left and bottom right have magic in them. I messed up. Let's just go the other. Let's go the full way around. This is fine. Oh my goodness, my Y button is terrible right now. Alright. This is alright. Spider hands. Oh no! Those are not spider hands. Please no spider hands. I've seen enough of them in Elden Ring. Ah. Alright, 4 hits with the hammer if I'm good. 1, 2. Best. We'll see why hammer is not the best weapon against this. That was a very friendly Mothula. Did we get the item? We don't. Alright. So worst case scenario, the big key is under the bridge and I actually have to walk back through Skullwoods and I can't use my knowledge that going back to Village of Outcasts is going to be faster if I mirror in front and run down into the portal. Which is like, I don't know, 10 seconds? It's actually a decent amount faster. Welcome Leventon, thank you for the good luck, I will need it. Alright. Oh my goodness, the Y button is terrible. I'm sorry. I need some replacement material for my controller. Oh, and I'm a bunny. As a bunny you can't open chests or use items, I just need to wait until the effect wears off. Alright, there is the second item, that's nice. And it's actually very nice, because I can now capture fairies. Alrighty, so now with this, mirror around here, I think. It's been a while since I did this. Yeah, this is fine. And grab the hammer. It's really difficult to item dash with this Y button basically being just permanently pressed in at this point. It's super finicky. Ooh, I didn't think about this, but there's a lot of fairy bushes in this area. Fairy, come on! Fairy, no! Fairy! What a meanie! I forgot that there's a bunch of fairy bushes. If I actually planned that ahead and said, alright, there's a bunch of fairy bushes here, we might be able to get items from it. I might have been able to catch it, but maybe not. It's kind of tricky. Anyway, there is two items that I'm gonna get before going into Thieves Town here. But Thieves Town is a crystal, I can fully clear it, so I'm just gonna do that. That's just kind of my general mantra, let's put it this way. If there is a crystal dungeon I can fully clear, I'm just gonna go towards it. Maybe do some efficient things along the way, trying to be, well, slightly faster. But that's about it. I'm actually going to minimize the routes where I might need the Y button at this point. But the Y button is the item button, so it's very important to have it available. Especially for little time saves like this one coming up, where I'm just going to face up and hookshot to the chest. Actually already forgot what the first chest was. Don't tell me, by the way. It's all erased. But we did get one item out of here. There is only 4 unique items in Thieves Town. It is a decently linear dungeon, and the difference between full clearing it or not fully clearing it is pretty minimal. There's a Cane of Samari. That's nice to find early on. It doesn't give us any progression whatsoever right now. Also, this compass right here is actually kind of useful for me for information purposes, because regardless of what I got before, if you get any compass or map any time in this dungeon here before you could open up the big chest, you always check up at the big chest if you get a small key. Sometimes you might not get a small key, which does actually mean that blind itself is hammer locked, but in this case it doesn't matter because we do have a hammer. Oh, I got the perfect pixel there in order to dash up, but unfortunately enemies decided that I'm not allowed to pass through. Too finicky. I might try to switch controller on the boss fanfare or something. The other controller hopefully works better. Last time I tried to use it, it had a bit of a drift. Like when I press down, it sometimes also pressed left or something like that. I don't remember what the exact directions were. We get powder, that's nice. Which actually we can just use here and get a ferry. Just a moment. And refill our health. Because this anti-ferry here always goes up. Alright, that's a little bit awkward, but hey, we got through. Now, we still don't have a small key. But the small key could still blind cell. Oh wait, I actually wanna capture a ferry here. I think the thing up here has a ferry. Keep it. Thank you. No, alright, if I die now... Okay, no small key. Nice. If I die now, I will be automatically revived by a ferry once. If I do want to intentionally death warp, that would kind of be a bad thing, but... Don't want to death warp right now. And with a mirror, the chance of me wanting to death warp is significantly reduced. It only happens on very select circumstances at that point. Specifically if I go into total rock and... reasons. Excuse me. Alright, so blind always takes the same amount of damage, regardless of which weapon you damage it with. Now some weapons don't work, like the bow for example, but any other weapon that does deal any damage is the same damage, and you just need to hit each time 3 times. Hang on. I forgot! I wanted to switch controllers. But I forgot that I need to pick up the item, the crystal, first. But hey, we get the Master Sword, that's nice. The Master Sword is at the very least required in order to defeat Ganon. Yeah, that's kind of curious. So, this controller is not warm and I'm not used to it entirely, but the Y button is going to be way nicer on this thing. Actually, I could... just technically replace the rubber in the controller with the second one. Oh well, before we go down south in the Dark World here, we did receive the powder in Thieves' Town, and with the powder we're going to, well, ask the bat what it has for us today. Normally this gives us half magic, which means any magic appliances only cost half as much magic. But, actually, worth noting, half magic is not in this rule set. Basically, we get a small magic refill as soon as we see half magic. So, effectively, it's nothing, if you will. In this case, we just get a piece of art. Nothing valuable, nothing terribly useful, but at the same time... it's another item or location of our list that we have now visited. Now, I do want to clear the remainder of this little Dark World tour here, so we're gonna do the digging minigame. Afterwards, we're going to ask Stumpy for whatever prize it might hold. And we check K45. K45 is named K45 because internally in the randomizer, it is labeled as the 45th cave entrance. I don't actually know how it originally came to be, but basically there's no official naming for K45, it just happens to be the 45th one, or something of that equivalent. Alright, digging game by the way. It is just random between 1 and 30 digs, it does not work like in the original. You could just get it on the first dig, but in the original I think you need to dig at least 20 times and at least, or the maximum 10 seconds can be remaining or something of that equivalent. Don't entirely remember. Alrighty, now we get Stumpy. Oop, come on up. That's it. So, my next goal is to go up Death Mountain. I could go into another place instead. that other place being Hyrule Castle. There's still some items there, as well as Eastern Palace. I just kind of sort of hope it's not going to be Eastern Palace relevant for item progression. The reason is, there's a decent chance that I have actually a decent advantage with the items I have right now, going into Palace of Darkness as early as I did, because why would anybody do that? That's kind of the short version, I guess. But if Eastern Palace does in fact have something, my opponent might actually get whatever it is out of Eastern Palace, which is the hookshot and the mirror, which both are required in order to go to East Death Mountain, for that matter. So basically they can't go far on Death Mountain whatsoever. So I just hope that on Death Mountain is a useful item for me in some capacity and description that allows me to gain a slight advantage. Alright, I'm also going to pick up a bomb here, because for whatever reason, if you item dash and hold an item above your head, you go way faster. Anything in here? Just bombs, so nothing relevant. There are 300 rupees here. I have not yet paid Zora, so I'm going to actually pick up these rupees. And I'm also going to check what's inside Tower of Hera. Tower of Hera is a pendant, so I preferably wouldn't clear it, but with a little technique that is called Hera Pot, we can actually climb the tower really fast. I just hope that the item in the basement is not what I need. Alright, we do get a big key, so logically the upstairs area is available. Logically, I mean the randomizer logic setting items. So we're actually going to go upstairs. Oh my goodness. I need this hookshot speed actually. Then we do this. Go diagonal into the pot. I'm just pause buffering. You don't have to pause buffer it, but it's easier. We do have the big key, so we can open up the big chest and the other items. And my hope is that as soon as I go down here... Oh my goodness. I did not mean to fall in here. That's the first. I've never done that one before. I hope this and the next chest would have been the item I was looking for, but neither of them were. Oh, I forgot. I don't have boots. So I couldn't... Like, I was intending to bonk back across the gap there with the boots, but I don't have boots. I have pseudo boots, so... Number one, where I forgot about that part. Alright, so I'm hoping that Moldorm has the item, the second one. Alternatively, there's gonna be an item in the basement. I don't want to defeat Moldorm for the purpose of getting the pendant, because the pendant does nothing for me, except... maybe it could lead to an item on the pedestal. It's very rare for an item to be on the pedestal, but it's possible, which would mean we would need all 3 pendants in order to get that item. So for example, the ice rod could be there. It cannot be a bow, because you do need a bow in order to get all the pendants to begin with. And we in fact did get the second item here. We don't have to go in the basement, but the item was not terribly useful. Alrighty, so now we still have a bunch of items on the east side of Death Mountain available. I'm just kind of hoping that the Titansmiths are somewhere over here. Am I actually? So the funny part is, if the Titansmiths are, like, let's say in Hyrule Castle, the downside of course would be that I don't have them, and I would kind of double this time having to go up here again in order to check the Dark World equivalent of this place in order to, well, go through here. But the other end of the spectrum is my opponent might not go into Palace of Darkness if they have Titansmiths earlier on. So it's always kind of that give and take. Sure, they might have one item early on. Similarly, me getting the set of items I have right now early on might technically save me time, but it could also just kind of lead me astray and make me check a lot of locations that I shouldn't worry about. Or maybe they get an early bow and decide to just get the green pendant anti-item on Palace of Darkness boss. And they might get something useful on it, and I'm not gonna go back there anytime soon. It's always, as I said, a bit of a give and take. Quite interesting. And basically, almost no matter how good or bad you are at this game, Randomizer will often find a way to equalize the seed in some capacity. There's actually a decent amount of luck involved. In theory, well, actually practically, the better you are at the game. So I went the wrong way. I should have gone through Link's house in order to check for travel spot first. Oh well. In theory, the better you are at the game, the more likely it is you will win. But almost no matter what skill level you are, well, maybe not almost, but once you reach a certain skill level in execution, if you just get lucky, you can beat basically anybody. And that's just part of the game. It's like poker. You're not going to win every race, every game. But sometimes you might just get really lucky and punch way above your weight. And it can be quite fun that way. Or frustrating the other way around. Depends on what kind of person you are, I suppose. To me, it's just always, if I win, great. If I don't, well, part of the game. Alrighty, so we have acquired a flute, which actually does nothing for me right now. In terms of progression, it does allow me to visit places slightly quicker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually check this, the one-off location over here, where there's Agina, as well as checking the item on the ledge here. The item on the ledge is 300 rupees, so Agina could have something useful. And if this is nothing, we're going to save and quit to Link's house and visit... Actually, what time will I stay here? Never, actually. So I always save and quit. We always save and quit from here, so I could go to visit Zora. So Zora is in Logic. However, if there's something on the Zora ledge, actually, surprisingly, despite as many items I have, I don't have the means to get the item from Zora's ledge. Also, if you remember, if I wanted health right now, the tree pool is gonna be fairies. So that's an interesting thought as well. There's a boomerang right here, the red one. The better one. It also lags a bit, but that is actually potentially advantageous. Wait, yeah, actually I can now get the item on Zora's ledge if desirable. The red boomerang, in fact, is a key ingredient to that. In conjunction with the Key of Samaria and 2 bombs, I can do splash delete. It's a bit unusual, the blue boomerang will not work for that purpose, in case you're curious. Because it doesn't fly for long enough, and it doesn't have the sparkles. Literally, the sparkles are the reason why it would work. I'm not joking. Alright, so this chest here could be a small key. Or not. If this is not a small key, then we know the small key is in fact in the sewers. So we're not gonna worry about the small key in this dungeon whatsoever. We know where it is. Because it only has, like, well, a few possible locations. And we haven't gotten the small key of Hyrule Castle so far, and we know it's in the one remaining spot that we don't have to check. So that's nice. Here's the map. Worth noting that I hadn't found the map yet, and if this was not the map, I could have actually just skipped Zelda Cell down here. But to be completely honest, I think I forgot. So if this was... So thankfully this is the map, so I have to check Zelda Cell, because if it wasn't the map, I would have been a dingus and gotten this item here for no reason. Whoops. Flippers. Okay, this actually gives us a few more locations here. the homeless guy, among other things. And actually, before we go there, we can clear the entirety of Swamp Palace now. Do we go left side swamp? Yes, I think we go left side swamp. So we do need a bow in order to finish up Eastern Palace, as well as we do require the Ice Rod. Both of these items are required in order for me to beat the game. Funnily enough, if Eastern Palace was a pendant, I wouldn't technically need a bow, because you can actually climb Ganon's tower without a bow if you do the mimic clip trick that I did earlier in order to get into Palace of Darkness. Oops. Can I hit that guy? Trying to powder the fairy so I get some health, but that was too slow. This is a 5/6 crystal, but without having the Eastern Palace crystal, this is unfortunately a moot point. So, after this dungeon here, regardless of what we find almost, well, that might not be entirely accurate, but most likely I'm going to check out Lake Hylia Island, then we go to Hubo, and then we swim over to Zora. I could get reasonably likely the Titansmiths along the way here. That's one item. So glad I exchanged controller, and I cleaned this controller here in particular. Alrighty, where was I? Oh yeah, I'm going to go left side. Swamp, basically no matter what here. Come on. Wait. Okay, I've never done that one before. So we grab the small key here, which you're not supposed to grab in the vanilla game yet, because you don't have the hookshot yet, until, well, you open up the big chest after getting the big key from the left side. So you can actually use this key here in a slightly strange way compared to what the original intent was. But however, we have found a compass which actually gives me additional security to go left-hand side swamp, because left-hand side swamp has only 2 chests. Very often you like to skip that because it's just 2 chests, they are kind of far out of the way, but it takes way longer to go back into left side swamp, and in this case I feel like my early route might give me enough of an advantage that I can just play it safe instead of anything else. We do a little technique called Diver Down, and as well, a separate technique. The late bomb crystal switch activation. I don't know what it's actually called, that's what I call it. Basically the crystal switch activates as soon as I get back on the screen, which allowed me to get through these hammer or blue pegs on the right side there. But this now activates the switch to the correct position, so we actually both chests on the left side here. So these 2 chests with the diver down and the late bomb technique allows us to get these chests about, let's say, 15-ish seconds faster, or 20 seconds even, compared to doing it the normal way, which you would have to do if you were to skip left side swamp initially. There's one item right here. Well, yeah. Ice Rod? No Ice Rod. There are 2 items in here, so if anybody were to go straight to the back, which is not too unlikely, because potentially what could happen is this is just a map and a compass. I did not mean to jump down there. This could just be a map and a compass, and in this case I would have spent a lot of time for basically no reason. And welcome to Corona. Good night run indeed. I don't think I have a big key yet, so we'll need to find that one still. And we can go to the right side here, saving a little bit more time using the same technique. So if the big key is actually here, we will have to do the dive down again. And we have to do some shenanigans and actually to get up these stairs in a reasonable way because those stairs are weird. Bombos medallion and the big key, alright. So we align ourselves on that wall in order to get up here. All to the right and go around the right hand side path, because for some reason you spawn behind the stairs and then normally you immediately get sent back up again. It's weird. Also, this was a map, so I did not need to do that. But at the same time, there was no way for me to know that I did not need to do it. What I could have done is I could have just continued in Swamp, not worrying about the big chest, because there was still the map available, and hope that it would be the map. And in this case, it would have paid off. But it also would have taken longer to get back to the big chest if this wasn't the map, which 2 in 3 chance. Also, I like to be very thorough in my runs through seeds most of the time, which is why I should clear left side swamp if I still need the ice rod, because the ice rod can be anywhere, and if you get unlucky, it might just be in the wrong place for you. Alright, what do we have now? So Argus is a little bit awkward to take down with just a Master Sword. Because you need 2 swipes instead of the usual 1, that is more desirable. Okay, nice, I even got a 1 cycle at the end there though. A bit sloppy overall. Ooh, oh. Now we can go to Eastern and clear that. We still go check Hobo along the way. Bo is very nice actually. We still go to like Hylie Island and check Hobo as well. Stop! Oh my goodness. These enemies sometimes are mean. And I just don't handle them right. We still need the Titansmiths and the Ice Rod. I do really hope we find the Ice Rod before Titansmiths, but statistically speaking, that is not terribly likely. Hobo it is, I guess. Any rupees? I don't need those. Yeah, we go Hobo, then we go and clear Eastern Palace, hope for Ice Rod along the way. Yeah, we'll see. I was actually initially considering staying in the Dark World, because this would allow me to go up the ladder here, but then I realized I have a flute, that's way faster. Alright, thank you very much, sir. I do not need that. I only have 1 bottle right now, otherwise I might actually consider buying some items, bottle containers. Alrighty, now, I do think this a bunch of stuff went in my favor. Also, if I go up to Zora, what I will want to do, almost certainly, is check Catfish along the way. Catfish is an out-of-the-way location, no matter how you twist and turn it. And if I can check Zora along the way as well, that is going to help a bunch. That's not gonna be useful. Go back to Hookshot. Also, I should have selected the hammer going into Eastern Palace, then I would have been able to dash through the first pot right there. We did get the big key. Now, there's always that question. If there's an item in the chest that normally contains the big key itself, the one we just found, do you go out of your way to grab it, because that thing is really far out of the way? Or do you hope that the boss has an item? Well, right now, we have found 1 item. It's entirely possible the next 2 chests I'm opening have just both the dungeon items and I can go straight to the boss. But chances are we will get the map or the compass along the way first. We do know where the silvers are, but there's no reason to ever do Aghanim, so we're never gonna get them. Oh wow. That guy just spawned somehow. Ooh, yep. Alrighty. Unless this is specifically... Actually, even if this is Ice Rod, I would go for the far out of the way chest anyways, because those could just be Titansmiths. So, again, I do feel like I have a decent route right now. It might not be optimal depending on certain secondary, tertiary item locations. Because I did a lot of things without Titansmiths that could potentially be more optimal if I had them in order to do all the things along the way. Or I could just get lucky and I don't need them until we're in go mode. Just checking real quick because all of a sudden I was paranoid whether I already have the Titansmiths or not. So I've done that before where I just didn't pay attention. Right, it was just a compass, we did not need it, so we could have gone directly to the boss and saved like 30 seconds. Not coming back in here. Later that is. But I didn't. That's alright. So, after the boss, we're going to go to Zora. If I find Titansmiths, what do I do instead? If I find Titansmiths, I think we immediately... Oh, I wanted to say Ice Palace, but no. We want to check Misery Mire Medallion, because it could be that we need Ether Medallion. No guarantee for that, but it's always possible when there is randomized medallions as well. So we want to check out the Turtle Rock entrance as well as Misery Mire entrance as a priority if I get Titansmiths here. Otherwise we will go to Zora because there's not really much left over aside from that. The thing that could be left over is the Palace of Darkness boss. In fact, the Palace of Darkness boss is the only other thing that could still be a thing. Alright, yeah. Catfish? Is it faster to... Yeah, it is actually. That's interesting. I never actually thought about it that way. But it is faster to go to Catfish via this portal here. Rather than Link's house. Because it is faster from here to the pyramid as well. I know that for a fact. Actually, I've never tested it myself, but people tell me. And I believe them, okay? I don't technically know it for a fact because I haven't tested it myself. I just assume it's true. Either way, enough rambling. We're gonna go and visit Zora. Let's see, what else could we find? We could technically find boots or a book, which would be kind of a little bit awkward. Or we could find nothing, which would be even more awkward because then it could just be the fetch quest of extra step Palace of Darkness boss. Always possible. Or even funkier. Is the pedestal available? Oh yeah, I can't bonk here. I did not mean to bonk. Pedestal available. This is an intentional bonk because it sets me up exactly for a quick warp. Not catfish. No matter what, we always check out Zora. Actually, unless we find Titansmiths and Ice Rod in here, which is incredibly unlikely. Oh, hang on. I'm a dingus. Pyramid Fairy is available. I should have done Pyramid Fairy into Catfish. Ah! Mistake. That is a genuine mistake. Ah! Oh well. So Pyramid Fairy into Palace of Darkness it is, I guess, at this point. We get Cape. We know. No, we still got Pyramid Fairy. Do we go into Palace of Darkness afterwards? No. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we got Pyramid Fairy. Hope that we get something out of it, because I'm really disappointed in myself to not realize that I could go Pyramid Fairy. I even mentioned it earlier. Anyway, Pyramid Fairy into Spike Cave, because the cape allows us to check out Spike Cave. We already know Bumper Cave is nothing, but Spike Cave is now in logic thanks to having all the appropriate tools, which is an invulnerability item, really. I could do some fancy multiplication shenanigans, but I'm not gonna do that. Not today. Actually, keep the hookshot here. You can dash with the bomb if you hookshot to a thing and then start dashing before the bomb catches up with you. Because the bomb will only be deployed if it is basically close enough to follow you when you press the A button. So that bomb is not perfectly placed, it could be like 3 or 4 pixels further to the right. Alright, we always mirror here. Ooh, Battle of Darkness boss, very possible. Not a fan. What's the last pendant? Ice Palace. We need 4 hearts in order to lift up the rock, so should have enough time to switch over to the cape. Alright. All my magic gun and... Sheesh. Palace of Darkness it is. I really hoped it wouldn't be that. I even mentioned that too. On the bright side, it's gonna replenish my magic. And... chances are... well, it is an item and the green pendant. So, one thing, real quick. I always call the green pendant a fetch quest with extra steps. Occasionally, me just kind of intentionally ignoring the green pendant comes back to bite me. In this case, I would not have gone for the green pendant unless there was very little remaining in the rest of the world that I could check out. Especially at the time when I was in Palace of Darkness, as early as I was, I would not have gone for the green pendant even if I had the bow. Because very often there's that allure for a lot of random runners that it's a green pendant, it's an extra item. It's an extra item which is basically a fetch quest with extra steps. And basically, more often than not, it's not worth it. Occasionally can pay off. So I don't have the magic to put the thing down, so... occasionally can pay off, but kinda rare, let's put it this way. So... it could be directly on Trinex, it could be on Sazrala, whatever we need in order to progress here. No matter which one it is, we check both anyways. Because we do need 2 more items at the very least. messed up, but that's okay. We have a little backup that is slightly slower. If I had magic, I would also use a cape dash in order to get through the turtles up here, which would allow me to get to the door slightly more efficiently and quickly. But I don't have magic, so we can't do that. I don't know the pixels for the alignment for the key dash without, well, aligning it with a wall. Getting the jolt with the hammer is really tricky, but it's twice as strong as a Master Sword, so it's a lot better technically. There are the Titan Smiths, and that opens up a lot. Yikes. So what do we do? First order of operation, as I mentioned before, we absolutely need to check Misery Maya. Oh, also, actually, something I forgot about that. We absolutely also need to check whether Desert Palace is actually boots locked. While we have Zelda boots, those are not real boots, so we couldn't get a big key off of the torch. Or a small key for that matter. So we actually need to keep that in mind. Very importantly, so technically boots can always be required. I did not mean to go into the mirror. I needed to plant the mirror further away. My mistake. Alright. I feel like my entire, let's say, lead has basically evaporated. Well, I say I have a lead, but I don't technically know. But if I was in the lead, it's basically gone, because I had to go back into Palace of Darkness anyways. We have... ooh, it is Ether, so we actually need an additional item in order to be in go mode. So we cannot do Misery Maya right now. It would be the next dungeon I would be completing immediately. And I kinda messed that up somehow, jeez. If you basically press the mirror button when the rock is moving in a non-dungeon, because in a dungeon it brings you back to the entrance, it will delete the block for some reason. And that is once again a Japanese 1.0 version exclusive thing. Right, let's see whether we can clear Desert Palace. Could be that we need 4 more items. I wouldn't mind too much, because potentially we will want to dip into Total Rock. In fact, Total Rock up there, or Death Mountain for that matter, is our next destination. Let's see what we have up here, and it is a small key. It's possible that we can clear this dungeon, but logically the boots are in fact required in order to clear this dungeon. You may not need it if the big key is exactly here. It is not. Alright, we do need the boots too. Holy cow. So, we actually need 4 items. We need the... wait, no, 3. Boots, Ether Medallion and Ice Rod. Switch over to the flute, because chances are we don't need the mirror in here. We do need the mirror in here. Found the Ice Rod! Hooray! I'll find the Ice Rod before I need it. That is absolutely perfect for me. Alright, we go up Death Mountain, try to clear Turtle Rock. Emphasis on try, because, well, the catch is, of course, it could also be Ether locked. It's random. Question, do we go up Super Bunny Cave? I think we do. It's 2 item checks pretty quickly. Even if it's technically slightly less efficient if you were to come out of Total Rock later. But the item density is slightly front-loaded in this case, which helps in case we find boots and or Ether Medallion here. And of course we can also just check the Hookshot Cave right after. And I suppose we do not know whether we need the Ether Medallion in order to get into Total Rock, which could just be around here too. Where do we go if... Is Ether Medallion... I guess we just clean up the rest of the Dark World, actually, and then going to Ice Palace. That's gonna be the order. We found the boots! Alright, we can do desert. And we found a book, which... Well, I suppose usually screams desert as well, but in a different way. Our book allows us to also check the Ether tablet up here. Boots allows us to check 2 locations and clear the remainder of the dungeon. It's... okay, sure. It's Ether Medallion too. We can't even clear Turtle Rock right now. Holy cow. That's unusual. I think we save and quit from here to Sanctuary. Check the Bone Crocs locations. No. Wait, save and quit is that. Save and quit, check Bone Crocs and King's Tomb. Actually don't know which order is more efficient. King's Tomb first or Bone Crocs first? Do not know. I always think Bone Crocs first is faster because you can hop down the ledge and go directly over to King's Tomb, but I don't technically know. Never timed it. Alright, with actual boots we can do this, which we couldn't do before. We will be able to get everything that is in Desert Palace, which is 2 items only. It's not that many. But I will go there as a priority because, well, we only need 1 more item in order to clear the game. And that item is the Ether Medallion. After that we are effectively in go mode. It would be nice to find an additional sword, but it is by no means required to beat the game for that matter. And nothing useful here. Go back to Desert Palace. Through the back entrance, of course, because this is faster. So if you find Ether Medallion, we can immediately go clear Misery Mire, because we are right here. And at this point the seed is, I guess, reasonably straightforward, you could say. We will check both chests on the right side. There is going to be guaranteed a big key on the right side, and either a map or a compass, or a unique item. Let's see what it is. If it's both map, if it's the map, I think, is what is remaining. It's not a map. So this is gonna be the big key. It's vanilla location. What we're gonna do is we're going to go to the boss, hope that the second item is here at the boss, rather than having to go back into the main room. But this basically saves us a bunch of time, not having to check the big chest. And if we do, well, we lose a relatively little time over the other method, but the probability of an opponent doing the same thing is decently high. But even if this play does not pay off, chances are my opponent did the same and I effectively don't lose time. Put it that way. Not what I meant to. Alright, don't forget to dash up high this time. That was a mistake actually. I needed to preserve my fire rod shots since I need them in order to kill Moldorm, since that's my best weapon. Let's see. One more spin and fire rod shot. I messed up. One more spin on fire rod shot would have kind of salvaged this a little bit. I needed to preserve the magic and light 2 torches twice. Okay, there's the second item. Nice. Don't have to go back into the main room. since 2 fire rod shots, or ice rod shots actually, just knock out Moldorm. Excuse me, that's my loss. Now, the question is, do I go and check the pedestal right now? Pedestal is entirely a valid item location at this point. I think I'm going to check pedestal after or before we go into Ice Palace. At this point, we have a few item locations available thanks to the Titan Smiths being right here. Not a whole lot of things left. In fact, I have almost will clear the seed very soon, which technically benefits me if my opponent did a similar thing. I say technically because never that simple. Because usually, the way I play seeds, I just kind of try to very efficiently do everything. And if my opponent ends up doing everything as well, then often I have a slight advantage in terms of, well, routing. But they just skipped a bunch of locations which were nothing like, let's say, Tower of Hera, or also what's the other thing? Tower of Hera or Left Side Swamp and stuff like that, and they could just skip this, and this is decently reasonable and frequent that somebody would skip these locations. They might still have an advantage. Which, by the way, in case you're curious, the way the ladder system works is hang on, I need to think. Okay. Thinking of. The way the ladder system works is as follows. Effectively, there are, like, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50 participants in each ladder race, but specifically, very specifically, you only get paired up with one opponent. And that one opponent, you do not know who it is, and you're not allowed to know who it is. And basically this is just kind of for competitive fairness, because otherwise you could screen cheat and stuff like that. Don't do that, please. And you two, only you two as opponents have the same seed. Everybody else has the same seed hash for the specific race, but only you two have the same specific seed in particular. So what this means is that everything is the same. A variety of boss patterns start the exact same way, like Ganon, for example, or Aghanim and stuff like that, as well as the item locations, of course, and stuff like that as well. We do get a bottle. You know, I'm gonna buy a blue potion. I'm a big advocate of buy some safety items. I like to combo it if I have a mushroom in order to turn into a mushroom, but I haven't got the mushroom yet. And as mentioned before, gonna check pedestal before we go into Ice Palace. Actually, at this point I probably should just hop into Ice Palace directly instead of checking pedestal, because this doesn't really do anything for me. Like, if it is here, I still have to clear Ice Palace. I guess I could just dash through Ice Palace instead of checking the items. This is technically the less efficient play right here, checking the pedestal. Because if there was other reasons to, let's see, go into Ice Palace and find stuff, or contemplate... Oh my goodness, it is pedestal, jeez. Either way, this was the less efficient play, but we're in go mode now, because we know exactly where the thing is. My evil twin. I don't think I have an evil twin. We kind of solved that problem a while ago. Oh, I missed. By the way, welcome to Ice Palace. I could still use a weapon upgrade, so I'm going to snatch a few chests along the way. But practically, I don't need to open up any chests anymore. Yagagoth disagrees. I don't think Yagagoth is evil. Not usually. Small key actually makes stuff a little bit easier, so I don't have to pick up the rock. But I could still do that. I need to hit the switch. Don't forget. If you don't have an evil twin, that means you're the evil one. Well, sure. I like that logic. We can roll with that. Alright, we're gonna do a little technique called Icebreaker. This is not allowed in No Major Glitches, A Link to the Past. One of the few differences, alongside Dive It Down, that is different between... I don't get it. Between A Link to the Past Randomizer and the No Major Glitches speedrun rule set. So this allowed me to basically just kind of extend the doorway just a little bit further over. And so... got all the small keys, I think, out of this dungeon already. I'm basically hoping for a sword. We know where the items are, but I want a sword along the way, preferably. Come on. One item in here. I just realized, hang on, this is... I do have bombos, so this is fine. Not gonna check this one because it cost me magic. Don't have an evil twin, then you are the evil twin. There's something equivalent to if you don't have a shadow, you are the shadow. Oh well. A little fun fact, if you bonk hold stair to the top left, you can actually more easily hit it with fire rod shots, or more specifically can hit all the parts with fire rod shots than the top right. Top right is always the best, but top left almost always works. Why? I don't know. But if you time it well, you can in fact just demolish this thing even with just the Master Sword. Alright. Pedestal seat in like 1 hour 35 it's gonna be or something. I mean, we still need to do Misery Mire and Total Rock. So I guess there's still a bunch of chances. I shouldn't have gone out of my way for the chest in hindsight. There's still a bunch of chances for getting... Where am I going? Oh, right. I need to get the coin. Hang on. I was already thinking, wait, I already have the coin. No, I don't. Now I need to grab it. I need to go a little bit to the right there in order to dash all the way up. Poor sad. Aww. That Poro looks adorable. It's a global emote too. I think Poros are from League of Legends if I'm not mistaken. Alright. Gonna be a bit of a slow seed. We also need to find the big key in Misery Mire still. Basically, there was 2 reasons actually in this seed specifically to go ahead and defeat Helmasaur King in Palace of Darkness. One is the Titan Smiths and 2 was the Pedestal Seed. Okay. I assume I set up the spooky action, which I always do. Should I use Fire Rod? Or we got to use Cycle? Use Fire Rod. It's fine. Missed. Missed anyways. I do have a blue potion if we need it. This is why I like having safety, is I can just make slightly more risky plays because I always have the little backup. Alright, we always go to the right side here just in case this is the big key, because this chest is quicker to check than the other one. Don't know why the meta is to check the top left one first. Maybe because people can just hover across the gap if they're ridiculously good at hovering. I'm not, so I can't do that. Either way, I always try to just kind of do full commentary at the beginning of these seats when I plan on highlighting them. So there is in fact a big key there. So if you were really good at hovering, which is a ridiculously difficult technique in Zelda Link to the Past, then you could literally just hover across that gap there if you have boots. The way hovering works is Link cannot fall, or well, whatever sprite you have I suppose. Either way, your character cannot fall until or for 1 frame after you stop dashing. And basically what you want to do is you want to dash, stop dashing for exactly 1 frame, which is 1/60th of a second, which again is ridiculously difficult to pull off consistently and precisely, because you need to do this like 100 or 200 times in a row. And then move forward, and then... yeah, it's difficult. I did not need to hit that switch, I'm a dingus. Ah, messed that up. I didn't hit switches yet. Every time it feels like. And this one doesn't even work, because line up. Ah! Either way, hovering is ridiculously difficult. I have practiced a bunch. I have not managed to get anywhere close to being good at it. I have managed to cross the gap at Moldorm. I have managed to get a little bit far at times, but yeah, no, it's not something I can consistently do. Basically, I have like tiny microspasms whenever I try to hold still or do something in a very consistent manner again and again, stuff like that. And unfortunately, this does extend to me trying to hover, and I just cannot get... or I just cannot hover consistently. It's not a thing I can reasonably do. I can hover a little bit, it is possible. But it will always at some point, like 10, 15, 20 seconds in, will just go slightly sideways, because, well, it's a tiny microspasm, and that is enough in order to just throw it off for the hovering. But I have other techniques that I can do. I can Moldorm bounce, for which you don't need boots, but that's kind of a moot point because we have pseudo boots. Actually, can you hover with pseudo boots? I actually don't know. Does anybody know? I mean, we have regular boots right now, but one of the very few advantages I would have is if we don't have a hookshot and arrive at Moldorm. I would be able to bounce across even without boots. Whereas somebody who can only hover without the bouncing part, you would not be able to do that. Very minor. Incredibly unlikely to come into play. And it's only been relevant in one of all the races I've ever done. There's not a whole lot. Alright, plan is to clear Turtle Rock. We need the big key, we need 3 small keys. From chest specifically. We still only have a Master Sword, so kind of hoping to find a Tempered Sword along the way. If not, too bad. Actually, oddly enough, if there is no Tempered Sword along the way, once again that may benefit me. Also, I should... this is backwards, I need to go here second. This is wrong. This is inefficient. Where was I? I was saying something and forgot. Oh yeah! Master Sword may very slightly benefit me because I practiced Master Sword Ganon a bunch. But that's a big asterisk right there, because I haven't practiced it in a while. But it is kind of difficult to do, so there is a chance I might... Well, succeed. So there's 2 small keys so far. Select the fire rod. Hope the squid doesn't get in the way. Or the skeleton. Fire rod for this guy here, because we do not have a good way of taking care of this thing otherwise. With a Master Sword, that is. Alright, that kind of worked. Second item out of this dungeon. Not entirely sure why I'm keeping track. Because it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna go after any other items. Well, maybe I do. Actually, we haven't gotten the big key yet, so... We actually need all 4 small keys from the chests. Grab some arrows real quick. And select the fire rod here, because once again we don't have a way, or a good way to deal with the pokey. Need to grab the key, check the chest, because it is the big key. Because the big key has to be in this chest if you haven't gotten it at this point. And because this is the big key, we have to... well, we don't have to check the big chest. Chances are the big chest may not contain another small key. But chances are, again, pretty decent that in fact it does. So, we should go ahead and check it. Also fire rod. Magic. Wrong way. Other way around in the menu in order to select bombs. Wait. Good shot. We don't need to check Mimic Cave because we have all the items we need in order to beat the boss. Could be a sword, but I mean, that would be a very long check to a sword, and there is in fact a small key in here, so we needed to go around here. There's nobody who skips the big chest in this kind of situation, I don't think. Right? Right. Ah, messed up. Very slightly too slow there in order to not get hit by the roller. If you are very precise with your movement, you can actually just barely make it before the roller hits you. Kinda difficult. Also, I forgot Freddy's strategy. Sorry, Freddy. I'll avoid taking damage here a little bit because I'm gonna refill. Still need to find 1 small key. And that 1 small key will be on the laser bridge. We can use the key for the laser bridge. We do have a ferry as a backup, in case things go awkward. I would rather not use it though, because I always like having the backup. But it is the backup for a reason, so I should play reasonably comfortable. There's the small key, we're out of here. Again, there could just be a sword in any of the other chests, but... I mean, I'm not gonna go out of my way for it. Let's yet to check. Put that here, and that, and we go through. I think I don't actually need the magic thingy here, because it's not gonna allow me to shoot more than once. So, we have the Master Sword, so it's actually better to switch to the hammer in order to hit the heads here. Oh, what? Oh my goodness. Good thing I have. You're not dead? Why? That's awkward. I'm probably not gonna have enough. Attacks now. Unless... alright. This is why I buy backups. I did not want to use it, but... You've been a big meanie. That was unfortunate. The very first attack somehow didn't hit. I'm not entirely sure how that worked, so it didn't, I guess. Let me tell you, I love having backups in this game. But unfortunately we just have a fairy backup now, no more magic. And the magic is kind of the sticking point, I guess you could say, for specifically Ganon. As long as we only have a Master Sword, that is. Oh. Oh, that's fine. Alright. Let's see. We are here at about 1 hour 33 minutes. Not particularly fast, but it is an all dungeon seat. And I checked literally everything else too. I would guess my probability of winning is maybe 50-50. It really depends largely on how much my opponent managed to skip, because I didn't skip anything, but I was efficient. So it's kind of a coin flip in my book. Finish. Oh, we go to the right side. Fire rod. Don't fire on that guy, because why would he? If I was clever, I would select the lamp right there, but that was too slow to do anything like that. We grab the magic here. Oh well, that's fine. Preemptively, so oh, there's the big key. Alright, we're going up there, I guess. For the Master Sword. That's uncomfortable without having magic backup, but it's absolutely doable. I've done it multiple times before. I just need to play it properly. So, I also know I'm not gonna get silver arrows, because I know where silver arrows are. Opening up chests is literally just for hoping for a tempered sword, which would speed up defeating Ganon dramatically. Do you want to go into the refill room? I do have a fairy. Not too really worried about this. So I shouldn't have hookshot because I kind of messed up the timing. So across this room I like to use the cape or Rokina Burna in order to optimize it and just go slightly faster, but I'm more worried about keeping my matching meter high than beating up a room slightly fast, or so slightly I guess. Magic here. We have a bit of luck here. Nope, no luck. Red guy decided to be a little bit awkward there. Okay, this is gonna be a mess. I need a bit of magic still. Or upstairs, so I can't use it all up. It didn't go too terribly bad, but yeah, not great. Magic. Health. Rupee. This could be a small magic container if I'm lucky in the next room. This should be fine. We still have enough resources here. Need to use the lamp. Do we have enough? We do have enough. Alright. We're gonna grab full magic here anyways, because I did not need to grab whatever is under the pot. It's fine. Actually, didn't I fix that? I don't need to do that anymore. I do need the small key from the mini helmet source, so grab it real quick. Looking for a sword here. A sword. No sword. Alright. Time to put the money where the mouth is, or what's the phrase? Because I did say I practiced it, but also I haven't played it a long time. Like a month, or 2 or 3. So let's see. Unless this happens to be a tempered sword. Probability not that high, but possible. Nope. Alright. Master Sword Cannon it is. Master Sword Silverless even. I didn't get the fancy. Didn't get the fancy way there. That's alright. No sword beams and it doesn't matter. So it's only half a heart. Alright, normally I like to use cape here for potential setups, but I hope I won't need them. Because I don't want to use magic whatsoever unless absolutely necessary. So I'm gonna use a bunch on Ganon. Rude. Those blue balls are the reason why you want to keep, by the way. You just keep before he shoots and you actually get your proper lineup for the other projectiles guaranteed. Alright, time for Kingdoms of Mario strats. Oh boy. It is 12 spins. I cannot slash Ganon, it does not work with a Master Sword. It's 12 spins to push Ganon into phase 2, 12 spins into phase 3, and 4 more spins after. Let's see. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more. A little bit of an awkward spot, but can work with it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is fine. We could be greedy, but it's gonna go for another cycle. 9, 10, 11, 12, and this should be enough, but I'm going for one more just in case I miscounted or one of them somehow didn't count. I do have a fairy, so it's fine. We do want to switch now to lamp. So if we light the left lamp before the right lamp extinguishes, it will actually never extinguish the right lamp, so we can save a lot of magic that way. We kind of will need, I suppose, because we are Master Sword. 24 spins in the final phase. Alright. Yes, I did find them, but I'm not gonna grab them, because I would need to defeat... Oh, shoot! I'm not gonna be able to do this. This is not good. I need to spam the... I just stopped spamming at the wrong time right there. This is awkward. Been a while, and it came back to bite me. Shouldn't have said anything. So this absolutely can cost me the race against a more competent racer right now. There we go. Grab magic, fill up magic, grab blue magic. Eep. How does this even work? Does it just hold you there? The Kano Samaria block? You actually have to hold a diagonal in order for the Kano Samaria block to hold you there, otherwise it just kind of bounces you straight through the Kano Samaria block. And that's kind of part of the deal there. Okay. I'm gonna put the... there it is. So basically Kano Samaria block is kind of a awkward technique because you need to hold the diagonal in order for it to work. Like I hold that diagonal up left as soon as I reach the spin, but not before that because I don't want to push the block and you need to release it just at the right time. I think that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. Alright, this should be enough. Okay, that's 12. That's 10. I need 2 more. It is possible to get a 1 cycle in phase 2. But kind of difficult to do. I do have a fairy, so whatever. And unfortunately, he didn't teleport a second time. Because now I have to deal with the bats. He doesn't do the bat thing if you hit him before, well, he releases the bat. Come on, buddy. Come on. Getting punished for failing. Yes, I did find them. Okay, I got it. I'm pretty sure it was not possible to do this without the torch glitch. Well, it might have been. But it might... I don't know. I don't know. Hard to tell. Also, I lost count. I know I didn't miss any triples yet, but I don't think it matters. So this is 1 triple less, sorry, +1. Oh my goodness, always top right. I can't do top right with a lamp, dude. Top here just barely works. You have a fairy, so it's all fine. It's too early. Oh, it wasn't. I was fine. Well, I completely lost count now. Even lost track of parity. Is it parity when it's multiples of 3? Wait, I could have hit that. Ah, my goodness. Shut up, Yaga, and focus. Ay. Alright, 15 racers are still racing. Probability of winning plummeted to like 10-20% probably now that I did the whoopsie on Ganon, because my opponent might even have found the other thing too. Alrighty, result. I actually won. Surprising. Oof. I guess my opponent must have gotten an equally awkward route and my efficiency could have paid off, I would guess. GG! Thank you, everybody. Ugh. This is the first invitational race in the books. Actually win. At this point I didn't expect to win anymore. But it worked out, I suppose. And this is kind of one of the things I would like to put out there to anybody who is interested in racing A Link to the Past Randomizer. I made a pretty severe mistake there at Ganon. If you're playing against a high-level opponent, chances are that might cost you the game. If the routing before that just didn't already cost you the game. But there's always a chance that it still works out. Your opponent could have made an even more severe mistake. Let's say, die to Trinex without taking any safety doors or stuff like that. Very frequently I do see just kind of racers feel like they are so far behind they have to go for a Hail Mary play. Like, just go straight for pedestal because they feel like they're so far behind. More often than not, it's going to cost you the game. Like, let's say 2 in 10 times, it might actually save the game for you. But I think the probability is higher that if you just play straight from that point on and keep your head in the game, I think the chances of winning is higher than getting the 1 in 20 pedestal seed that you happen to go for. Because realistically, even if you go for pedestal seed when you're so far behind, if you made such a severe mistake, your opponent might just be ahead even if it's a pedestal seed. So, yeah. Either way, everybody. That is my wisdom for today. So thank you so much for watching, thank you so much for listening and for lurking. I hope you enjoyed your stay, I hope you enjoyed being around, and well, hopefully until next time. Take care, and have a good night. Enjoy the credits. I hope I don't forget to highlight this.